have translation of the khutbah after the Jummah Salah. Therefore, I request and I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may He also give hidayah to the people in India, that even in India we have the khutbah in the local language so that we get guidance every week during Jummah.
Brother Zakir, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Qadir. I am a businessman come social worker. As you said, we Muslims pray 5 times Allah Ta'ala. And then you also explain in Miraj events how 5 times prayer was fixed. But we see some of brothers, they do 3 times a day. Is there any justification in doing so?
The brother asked a question that, as I mentioned, that how 5 times is compulsory, and they will mention the Quran. Some people offer 3 times salah. Is it justified? According to the Quran, you should pray 5 times salah every day. But there are certain concessions given to you. The verses are recited in which 5 times is compulsory is Surah Hud, chapter 11, verse 114. Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse 78. Surah Taha, chapter 20, verse 130. And Surah Rum, chapter 30, verse 17 and 18. If you read these verses clearly say you should pray 5 times. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you concession certain times. As it's mentioned in Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse number 101, that when you travel, you can shorten your salah. As I mentioned, 4 rakats of Zohar, Asr, and Isha can be shortened 2 rakats. And when you're traveling, since it will be inconvenient, you can join the Zohar and the Asr salah. And if you want, you can join the Maghrib and the Isha salah. So when people join, it becomes thrice. So when you're traveling, anyone does, I have got no objection. There are even hadiths showing that in times of difficulty, there's a hadith in Sahih Bukhari which says that it was raining very heavily and people could not, after Maghrib Salah, come again for the Isha Salah, so the Prophet joined. So during any calamity and any difficulty, the Prophet has given permission that you can join. But I do know there are some people who say, oh, I have to go to office, therefore I will join my Asr and Zohar together. Just for small petty things, you want to go shopping. You want to go shopping and then I'll take 5 hours for shopping, so I'll miss my Asr Salah, so I join my Zohar and Asr. This is not allowed. While traveling and in times of actual difficulties, the Prophet has given you permission. Otherwise, in normal circumstances, you should pray 5 times Salah every day. Hope that answers the question.
सलाम जाकिर नाइक. आदान की पहली शुरुआत किसने की और कभी हुई और कहाँ से हुई और कौन सा देश में हुई?
The sister has a question that the Adhan, how did it originate, in which land, and how did it take place? Sister, it took place in the land of Arabia, the city of Medina, and given in the hadith that we have, that when the mosque was constructed, the Prophet and the Sahabas, they were discussing how to call the people. Some people suggested the drum beat, some people suggested the conch, and various suggestions were given. The hadith says that a person, he, in his vision, he heard the words of the Adhan, which I recited in my talk, by human voice, which came to the knowledge of the Prophet. And the Prophet agreed that whatever he heard, the words are very good. And there's no better way of calling the people to Salah this way and using the human voice. That's when the Prophet commanded that when you call people for Salah, use your human voice instead of the other things that people use like drum, trumpet, etc. And it was in Medina. Hope that answers the question.
We would now be starting the questions on the slips too. The procedure would be such. One question I would put now on the slip, then on the mic, my right hand side, again on the slip.